Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chord Dave Live because it's Saturday and we're all in the same time zones and back to normal again. So, thanks for joining me. Happy to see you all. Hope everyone's doing well. Great to see so many joining in early. So cool to see you all. Yeah, if you're new here and you're trying to chat, do pop in and say hello, but you do have to be subscribed for at least a minute to do so. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hang around and say hello if it's your first time here. Most of us are okay and decent people. Anyway, cheers to you. Happy Saturday and all the best. Yeah, it has been quite a week, which is why there has been no Chord Day video this week. I'm hoping to push one out tomorrow. She'll go to Patreon first, but we'll see how that goes. Just way behind again, as I have been for a long time. But we'll dive into it. We'll get into the chat and see how things are. Hopefully, you're all doing well. Ryan was here first, saying hey. Good to see you, Ryan. Hope things are well with you. James Severin was here. Says hello, my Irish brother, Chord Dave. Good to see you, James. Hope all is well. I love Pelham Blue Guitars is here and says hello all. How about 50 likes? And we ban Glenn before Dave finishes his beer and does it for free. Listen, we would never ban Glenn. Not really. We might give him a week off or something. That's all. Glenn follows up, says, Dr. Evil Wrench, two things. What was the guitar you played on Runway Train today? I couldn't see the rest of the headstock. And how long has it been snowing? I don't think he's here yet, is he? Which is weird. Scott's usually here like before anybody, before I am. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, it's anyway. But let's hope he pops in and tells us how it's going. Let me see. So we've got James and Glenn saying hello to each other. That's all good stuff. Glenn says, I like all three guitars on the pole, but Tellys have my heart. Oh yeah, there's a poll. I forgot about that. So let's see. For the poll. Let's end the poll and see it. So anyone who was in early, where do I see the results? Oh, here we go. Strat or Telly was the question. Your answers could be Telecaster, Strat, or SG. 71% of people got the question wrong and said either Telly. 40% of you said that, and 31% said Strat. Those were the wrong answers. 28% of you are correct with the SG. So well done to you. 25 votes, which is very cool. So thanks to everybody for joining. Just a little bit of fun, pre-game fun. Why not? But yeah, they're all pretty cool guitars. So nothing wrong with either of them, except for Strats, of course. But hey, that's another thing altogether. And I'm just kidding before anyone gets upset. Glenn says, James, did you beat Scott or is he lurking in the shadows? I don't think he's lurking in the shadows. He's growing in YouTube popularity, I think. So he's decided not to join us. I'm sure he's here somewhere. Murphy Slab says, yo, good to see you. Murphy Slab, hope you're doing well. Love that name, always have. Ryan says, what's happening, Glenn? That's a dangerous question. You could get all kinds of answers. Marsh is here. Good to see you, Marsh. I hope you're well. And Ryan says, found a nice Martin D45 anniversary model made on the day I was born. $22,000 may sell my kidney. Well, it's dated on the day I was born. Anyway, very, very cool. Yeah, it's one of those things. As you know, my Flying V was made the day after I was born. I may be making a tough decision to sell that guitar and another one in my collection very shortly, actually. I'm milling it over this weekend to see. But one thing that is for sale is this. It's on my Reverb store right now. It is an original 1980 Gibson Dirty Fingers pickup. And yeah, look, I've decided I'm not going to use it anytime soon. So I'm going to pop it out into the world. If anyone's interested, let me know. I will give you members of the community a discount on the price I have. And it's also in my Reverb store. So if any of you want to check out my Reverb store, I think the link's in all the videos. And you want to buy a Dirty Fingers pickup, I get it to you no matter where you are in the world. Because, you know, there's a postal service. As long as you got one of those, I'll get it to you. So it'll be super cool. But yeah, guitars that are on your birthday, that's pretty special. Pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, so that's why it's making me think the guitar. I'm never gonna get another guitar that was made the day after my birthday if I sell this one. I might get guitars from my birthday month again, but like as close to my birthday as could be possible, it's very unlikely. So it's wrenching. I don't know if I can actually part with it, but there's just some stuff going on I need to raise funds for, and that would raise quite a few funds at the minute. So it's a rough one. But Ryan, my official advice is don't sell a kidney just to buy a guitar. Just only if you're going to be able to buy two guitars. So there you go. Al's here. Good to see you, Al. Hope you are well. Why no PRS on the voting list? Just didn't cross my mind at the time. But yeah, nothing wrong with PRS. Love them. Right now, I'm leaning PRS Silver Sky SE. Well, there you go. Yeah, those ones are, as we found out last week, the highest selling guitars on Reverb this year. So a lot of people leaning that way as well. Haven't played one yet still, so I'm kind of hoping they'll bring out better colors. I'm not a fan of the colors they have brought out. None of them speak to me. Maybe the green one. I don't know. They seem a little bit. I'm just hoping they bring out more cooler colors next year. We'll see how it goes. Nella's here. Good to see you, Nella. Thanks for dropping in again. So yeah, good to see you. So Alan here. Okay, very cool. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us once again. Al says, so I am currently playing my PRS 245. 245 is very cool. Ryan says the LP is still the king. I mean, you're entitled to that opinion. Yeah, the LP is it's one of those I need to find the right one, and I haven't ever found the right one yet, but I have some thoughts on what that could be in the future. Let me see. We got where have we got? I just want to skip past all the hellos. Good to see you guys saying hello to each other. Now it says I have a PRS 245. It's a fantastic guitar. I agree. I think they're great, and Ryan agrees also. Now it says honestly, it could be my only guitar if I had to only have one. But what's the fun in that? Indeed. There's not a lot of fun in that. But there you go. Al says, yeah, I had thought of swapping pickups, but I've changed my mind. There you go. Yeah, sometimes it just needs a bit of playing it in, and there you go. The PRS 245 is a great guitar. Very much want to have one of those in my collection at some point. And as Glenn, I bought an Epiphone SG Custom this week. Beautiful guitar. I love it. SG Customs are great. Yeah, not a thing to complain about with that whatsoever. Marcia says, I'm back. Let's do this. All right. I love the enthusiasm. Good stuff. Yeah. Let me know for sure what it is you're doing and what you've been up to this week. All right, everyone. Because it's been one of those weeks where I kind of need some good stuff, a good laugh and stuff tonight. So let's do our best. Scott Brower's here, says good evening. Good to see you, Scott. Hope everything is good with you. Ryan asking, is that the pickup, the 3 pickup model? There is a 3 pickup SG Custom. So good question. Alan says, no, I'm not quite up to date. Your SG has humbuckers or P90s. I think it's humbuckers for that one. As there's no, the latest model is only 2 pickup. Colin's review made me do it. Colin's reviews will make you want to buy stuff for sure. Honestly, every time I watch that dude's videos, I'm like, well, got to pick up that guitar now as well. So I literally have a list, and he quite often gets guitars put on them on that list. But yeah, great stuff that you picked up the guitar. Glenn says they look nice. I have never played an SG Custom. How does it feel? It feels great. It's an SG Custom. It's an SG. What else do you need? It feels great. Of course, some people might disagree, but hey. Ryan says, okay, they have a white 3 pickup model here. Looks like 61 Les Paul SG by another name. Indeed. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, Ryan. It's a cool one as well. Now it says it feels good. A slim taper neck is slim without being too slim. I agree. I like a fatter neck, and this is comfortable for me. That's the most important thing. If it's comfortable to you, then it's all good. Glenn says, nice. I like chunky necks, but finding one that's a little thinner but not too much is sweet. And again, I agree with Glenn, which is very rare and weird to say, but there you go. Now it says, Ryan, this is the 2 pickup model. Picked it up at Zounds here in the US. I think it's Zounds, is it? Anyways, good stuff. Robert says, good morning. Good morning everywhere. Everyone, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're having a great I hope you're all going great. Robert, thanks so much for joining us on your Sunday morning. I hope Australia is doing well. As you guys are heading into summer, which is I'm kind of jealous. I wish I lived in the summer all the time, but it's not. It was a nice day today, which is weird for November. But anyway, now it says it is like a 61. There you go. That SG, yeah, sounds nice indeed. And Ryan says, I like a nice slim or medium neck. I have a Music Man that's pretty slim but nice. LP Custom is perfect for me. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. What's cool is, like, I mean, you can find pretty much any neck, and people will have a very strong opinion on neck size and stuff. So people will always have their favorites. I like a slim taper neck. I think it just works really well for me. So that's super cool that you like that. But yeah, as I say, you can always find something else that people will disagree with you on when it comes to neck sizes. Glenn says, I wanted a jazz bass, but the top of the neck got too slim for my liking. It's a P bass for me. I don't know what a bass is. What's that? This is a guitar channel. We don't talk about basses. Just kidding, all you bassists. Anyway, Scott Bugfoot finally is here. I mean, what time do you call this, Scott? I know you were here earlier, but still. Hey, good to see you, Scott, though, really. Thanks for dropping in. And Ben is here as well. Good to see you, Ben, as always. Al says, has anyone tried darkening a fretboard? My LP special is black, but the Pau Ferro fretboard doesn't look right. I understand Monty's in England has a product, but I've seen India Ink and other dyes. I haven't, Al, so I'm not sure on that. But yeah, there's definitely products you can use for it. I'm sure that will do a good job. But yeah, if anyone has done that, it'd be interesting to find out, actually. Because yeah, I might like to try it at some point on another guitar. Matt Van Bosch is here. Good to see you, Matt. Says, hi all. Has to be the Telecaster for me. It is the guitar that can do everything. Well, Matt, incorrect, but good choice nonetheless. Just kidding, of course, with all the joking around about the Telecasters. Yeah, they're super cool guitars. Tellies are great. I think, when it comes to tellies, they're the ones who started off mass production with the telly, right? So we've got a lot to thank the Telecaster for. It's a great guitar, no doubt about it. And it's still as popular as ever. So that tells you everything that you need to know. Ryan says, I think a nice dark oil or wax product would work all right. I would definitely avoid dye. Pau Ferro looks way too light for me. Yeah, I think that's good advice. A dark oil or a wax would be a good way to go. But yeah, I've never really done it myself, so I don't know what the best way to go with it would be. Glenn says, I've never tried dyeing a neck, which I find hard to believe, but there you go. Daniel is here as well. Says, it's Dave. It is indeed. Daniel, good to see you. Hope you're well, my friend. Ryan says, hear that, Scott? I was first. Indeed. A rare defeat for Scott in the getting here first stakes. But good to have him here nonetheless. Andrew says, I'm a Strat man all the way. Well, there you go. Some people love the Strat. Yeah, nothing against them. I have one and I never take it out of case. So it's not a Strat. It's a HB Harley Benton Strat copy, which is a really, really nice guitar. It's actually really good compared to other Strats I've played. But I don't know, it just doesn't inspire me the way other guitars do to pick them up and play them on a regular basis. Ken Marshall's here. It says, why is my 53 Telecaster with 2 PAFs minus neck stock pickup so heavy? That's a great question, Ken. I have no idea, but I'm sure somebody here will be able to help you out with that. And thanks for dropping in. Good to see you on the live stream. So yeah, thanks for coming to see us. Richard Clark says, you are going to try to push one out soon. I try to push one out every day. All right, Richard. Well, it's hopefully my videos are not quite in the same level of what you're pushing out, but it's fine. Yes, indeed. I will push one out tomorrow. I'm trying to get, yeah, I shouldn't say stuff like that because then I don't get it done and I'm like, oh shit. I'm going to try. I do have something I want to talk about. And again, it comes back to as well, it's whether or not I'm going to make that decision to actually sell the guitars that I'm thinking about selling. So look out for that. Tomorrow or not. Benny Larson's here. Good to see you, Benny. Hope all is well with you, my friend. And V Kelly 1975 says, what about the Les Paul? What about it? What about it? It just didn't make the lists. It was just a quick question. That's all. I was originally just going to be like Telly or Strat, so just leave it on the Fender side. And I just threw in the SG just as a little bit of fun on it. So nothing too serious there, guys. The Les Paul is a great guitar, of course, but we'll do more polls in the future and we'll see which ones you like then. Glenn says, I see a GL is still a little bitter with Gibson. GL being Geek Lord, and we'll go into that if anyone new here doesn't know who that is. Yeah, a little bit bitter, a little bit bitter. I haven't been watching his videos, so I just presume he's on the same thing that he's been on for months now. But there you go. Listen, when a company doesn't let you buy a greenie so you can flip it and resell it, you're gonna get angry. You could have made a good 10 grand on that. But there you go. Richard says, Telecaster is the correct answer. I haven't heard of those other things. I'm going to Google SG. You should Google SG. There's a lot of learning to come if you do that. Indeed. Anyway, Glenn says, the closest I've ever gotten to my birthday is my Epi 1959 is in my birth month. Well, there you go. Very cool. That's still pretty cool. If it's in your birth month. Yeah, birth month. It's pretty difficult to get a guitar from a birth month. So exact day. I mean, I was born on a Sunday, so they didn't make guitars on Sundays. They probably do now. I don't know, but yeah, the Monday is the date of my flying bee. So it's going to be hard to sell it if I do decide to. Anyway, Phil Sakara is here. Good to see you, Phil. Hope you are doing well. Ryan says, I've only ever found 2 guitars made in my birthday day and year. The other being a Strat with a sketchy eBay seller. Sketchy eBay sellers are, steer clear of them for sure. And we have a super chat from Nella. Thank you so much with $10 coming in on the super chat. That's super cool of you. There's no comment on it there, Nella. If you want to drop in a comment into the chat there, I'll keep an eye out for it as best I can. But thank you so much. That's super cool of you. I do appreciate it. It's always appreciated. Let me get that out of the way here. There we go. Yeah, thanks for that. It's super cool of you. Al says, heard talk that many bought the Silver Sky SE, but many not have bonded, so they resold it. Think it could have been double counted. It's possible. It is possible. I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, I think what's happening as well is there's a lot of really good deals on Silver Sky in certain places, selling them for like 600. I saw £600 Andersons were selling them for a couple of weeks ago. I think a couple of other retailers have had them at really, really good prices over the year, and I think a lot of people snapped up a lot of them and tried to resell them. So there's definitely a chance of that. But look, I will say PRS have been struggling to keep up with demand for them. So they're definitely popular. But yeah, it's quite possible. All right. And it could just be a hype thing. It could just be like people have been waiting to see would they bring out an SE version of the Silver Sky, and they did. So people were picking them up just to see what they were like. So yeah, but it's a cool guitar. I just want one of those flip-flop colors. That'd be great. Which I don't think they're going to do. Now it says I'd have to buy a pretty old and expensive guitar to get one made on my birthday. Born in 1960. It just depends. There is guitars out there that are not so expensive that were made in 1960. But yeah, if you're after a Les Paul or a Strat or a Tele or something, or an SG, I mean, you're not going to get an SG, but you know what I mean. You're going to get quite a pricey guitar in that sense. All right. T-Balls here says, what up, guitar freaks? Good to see you, Anthony. Hope all is well with you, my friend. And Murphy's Flab says, I sold my virginity for a candy apple red Strat and 2 liters of chocolate milk. I think you got a good deal there, to be honest with you. I'm going to sell mine for 3 liters of chocolate milk and 2 candy apple red Telecasters. That's my new goal in life. Also don't know how you would list that on eBay. That'd be funny. But anyway, thanks Murphy's Lab for always making me laugh. I love that. Al says, Nella, I was born in 1950, so forget about it. I mean, you could pick up a no-caster or a broadcaster. They're pretty cheap, Al, right? The Fender broadcasters. I'm sure you could pick one up. Ryan says there are a lot of affordable and good guitars made in 60. Guitar selection from 83 is just sad. 83 had some interest. I mean, I'm an 82, so yeah, I had a lot of times going through guitar listings before I picked that one up and being like, oh my god, what is this? But I found some nice ones that were close enough to the date that I was disappointed in not getting them. So Yeah, the 80s was a weird time though. Some great guitars, some awful ones. Much like today. So, yeah, anyway. SB is here, says, evening, everybody. I'm not going forward with the boutique cab. I got an orange 8-inch cab for the Micro Terror. It's the one that they make for it. And later I'll upgrade it to Celestian. Very cool, SB. Listen, it sounds like a good rig. Hope you enjoy it so much. But yeah, thanks for dropping in and letting us know. That's super cool. Grandpa Joe says, cheers to all today. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're doing well, Grandpa Joe. Thanks for stopping in to say hello to us. And SB says, got a new cab for 80 bucks. Super happy. Well, you can't beat that, can you? That's a good deal. Marsha says, by the way, I am here, but I'm setting up my acoustic to oil the fretboard, clean the body, check all the doohickeys, and restring. My fingers will be very oily, so I may not be able to type for a bit. I mean, just double check the doohickeys, because they're when they go out of whack, it's bad news. But yeah, good stuff, Marsha. Take care of your guitars, and don't worry if you can't type, it's all good. Daniel says the Micro Terror is all you need unless you're a pro. But there you go. If that's all you need, then good stuff. Todd says, hello, Dave. Hello, TCD family. SG, period. There you go, indeed. Just so happens that Robert Baker is giving away a Gibson SG Standard toward the end of the month. Got my name in the hat for it. Excellent. Well, there you go. Yeah, Robert Baker's very cool. Gives away a lot of cool guitars, and love that guy. But anytime he releases a course now, by the way, I do pick it up because I know I'll get something good out of it at some point. I have a couple to catch up on still. But yeah, if you're not watching Robert Baker on YouTube, you're missing out. He's very, very cool. And as Todd says, you can win a guitar on his channel. So yeah, check it out for sure. And good to see you, Todd. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Glad to have you on stream as always. SB says, I am far from a pro, and I do not believe that. I think you are a pro. So there you go. And but anyway, cheers to everybody. Still drinking my way through the box of San Miguel, which I did. There were some questions about it last week, and yes, I researched it when I was totally busy in my day job doing my job fully. I looked it up, and San Miguel was originated in the Philippines, and then a Spanish company were licensed to make it here in Europe. So I think this was actually made in Spain. Still, tastes pretty good. So San Miguel, cheers to you. Anywho, let's get into the chats a little bit. Matt says, there was a lot of Silver Sky hype, but I've seen a few early Black Friday discounts on them here in the UK at the moment. Demand must have fallen off a bit. Yeah, I think they'll be heavy on the Black Friday deals. I also think I don't know if you guys have noticed this. The Slash Epiphone Les Pauls, they're all gone. You can't get them anywhere at the minute. I think they're going to be back for a Black Friday deal, like an epic Black Friday deal to blast them out, and then have a refresh of the lineup next year. I haven't been able to confirm that. It's pure speculation that I've made up completely by myself, but they just disappeared one day. I know this because I was going to pick up one of the Anaconda burst ones before they discontinued the color completely. So I was looking to pick one up by the end of the year, and then they were gone from all of the places I buy guitars from. So yeah, keep an eye out if you're after an Epiphone Les Paul or a Slash Les Paul, but you've been waiting for the price to drop. I think Black Friday might be the deal that you're looking for. So we can only just check that out and see. But there's definitely something happening with Slash Les Pauls from Epiphone. Whether that's just they've discontinued them, I don't know. Let me see what else we got here. Todd, you're not getting that SG because I'm getting it. Is that what you said, Marcia? I don't know. Maybe I can apply and win it. That'll be super cool. If that happens, I'll be giving it away on the show. No, I never enter Robert's giveaways, but definitely check it out. Get over there and sign up, and it'd be super cool if someone in the Chord Dave community won a guitar like that. And it's an SG Standard. Those are great. So yeah, for sure, check it out. Glenn says, link to your Reverb store, please. Oh, Glenn, you're so demanding. Let me find it. Where is the link to my Reverb store? It's not there. It's here somewhere, probably. No, that's where my crypto is. I'm not giving you that link. That's a. Oh, is this it? Let me see. This is how organized I am, my computer, guys. Bear with me 1 second. I will get you a link to the Reverb store. The only thing in it at the minute is the Dirty Fingers pickup. Actually, I haven't checked that it is. Hey, wait a minute. It's just taking me to. No, that's not what it is. Right, let me get to the store. It is just the pickup, yeah, and I haven't checked that it's been approved for sale yet. I think it is. Oh, there's already a watcher on it. All right, cool. Can I share it from there? I haven't been on Reverb in ages, so if you do, guys, if you do buy something from me on Reverb, by the way, I'll make sure it's extra special for you guys. But please leave feedback, because so many people buy stuff and they don't leave feedback, and that's infuriating if you're a seller. So yeah, leave feedback as long as it's good, and it should be, because you should always get good service from people. Then yeah, leave that feedback. Anyways, let's throw that back in there. Computer is back up and running, and there is the link to the store for Glenn. Right, where are we now with the rest of this? Where's the chat gone? It's just all disappeared on me. Sorry, guys. Back up. Where are we? There we go. All right. Reverb store, please. There you go. Yeah, you got it. SB says, did you guys see Cesar's Insta today? Explorer Mustaine Proto. I didn't see it today, actually. Very good spot there, if you've spotted that in it. But he's definitely hinting at some stuff. I keep a close eye. I just haven't checked it today. Wasn't on Instagram at all today. But yeah, usually I just go out and I check the guitar pages, and I check a couple of other pages that I'm obsessed with, like cheap houses under 50k. That's still my favorite Instagram. And and yeah, it's crazy, because I do check Cesar's. He's also doing his, what do you call it, his stories or his reels or whatever they're called. He always has a hint in there, something that's coming soon. And Cesar, if you're watching, can we get those Adam Jones Les Pauls from Epiphone that you said was coming out in 2022, please? That'd be great. Because I've been telling people to keep an eye on their retailers, but there you go. Let's have a look. SB says, now that the cab thing is solved, where could I get great PAFs for a reasonable price? Well, there you go. I don't know for sure what other companies do for like their PAF replicas. I know, I think it was Al was saying the DAFs, the Dylan Talks Tone guys, their replicas are supposed to be quite good. I don't know the price of them though, so maybe Al can tell us. I think it was Al had them before, was telling us about them. So let's find out about that. Todd says, Marshall, I reverse your jinx, totally getting that SG. Well, I hope one of you do get it. That'd be cool. And Al says, what do you consider a reasonable price to SB? It's a good question. Scott says, baseball glove oil for darkening a fretboard. That's an interesting shout. Also, don't know where we would get that. Daniel says, what's the point in stainless steel frets? In my experience, about time the frets wear out, you need to replace the neck as well. Well, you know, people will swear by them, say they're better. So personally, I am not so like I'm with you. I've never had a problem, but I don't play as hard and as probably as often as others do who wear through frets. They're supposed to be a lot better for people who do, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's an upgrade, isn't it? Or so people will tell you. Anthony says, so I know everyone here has multiple guitars. Do you have one you're wearing down the frets, or do you play them all equally? In terms of me, I mean, I have a 40-year-old guitar that hasn't ever been refretted. Actually, hang on. No, I don't think it has been refretted. And so it appears they're original. They are, if I keep it, they've got 10 years left on the frets, no problem. If I do sell it, the person will probably refret it within 5 years, like 2 to 5 years. But yeah, they're still going well. So I think it just depends. If you're playing every day, playing pretty hard, I think you're on the same guitar, you're going to wear them down a lot quicker than someone who rotates their guitars. I have multiple guitars. I try and pick up a different one each day. I do tend to rotate mostly between three: my PRS, my SG, and my Epiphone SG, and my Flying V. So those three get the most play. But there's others as well that come into it. Play my my TE20 from Harley Benton a little bit as well. And yeah, so there's options, and I think if you've got them out, obviously you're gonna pick up different ones. So for me, I do rotate them as much as I can when I remember. Sometimes. SB says for under 200 for a set, I got a Duncan 59, and I didn't like the sound. Didn't like a PA. Didn't sound like a PAF at all. Yeah, people swear by them. I haven't actually played with them myself. So there you go. Ryan says KY Jelly for extreme speed riffs. I don't know what's going on here with this, but that doesn't sound right. Steve Norvell's here. Good to see you, Steve. Hope you are doing well. Todd says Telecaster was the broadcaster, then the nocaster. Finally, the Telecaster name stuck. Innovative design. Yeah, absolutely. I just slipped on nocaster. I did correct myself there. But you were 100% right. Came out as a broadcaster, and then Gretsch were like, no, you can't use the broadcaster name and stuff. I did a video about it a couple of years ago, I think. Maybe it was a year ago, about the history of the Telecaster. I don't think we'd be anywhere near where we are with guitars in terms of design and how forwards that the Telecaster took, the whole guitar industry and everything. I don't think we'd be anywhere near where we are today without the Telecaster being a thing in the first place. So yeah, it's a very, very cool guitar for sure, and quite a good history, quite an interesting history of the Telecaster. Yeah, the fact that the Strat was supposed to completely replace it and make it redundant, I think is hilarious, because I prefer the Tele to the Strat, but there you go, other people prefer the Strat. So it's so interesting, what they were thinking about in the 50s. SB says maybe I'll try to make my own pickups. There you go. Why not? It's a project that you can do. All that can happen is it doesn't work out quite as you want it, but there's a good chance it'll sound even better than what you're looking for. That's what I think anyway. So yeah, do it. I think it'd be cool. Glenn says T-ball, I rotate mine in no order. I just grab one by the mood I'm in, and I usually end up playing it for a week or two, then I change. Well, there you go. And that's a good way to do it. Todd says AMS is giving away a /4 Les Paul package at the end of this month because they can't sell the damn things. I mean, if they're still trying to sell them for 10 grand, yeah. I've seen a few of them pop up on Reverb again over the last couple of weeks for like 9 grand, 10 grand, and so forth. It's like, it's a 3 grand guitar, dude. Just get over it. You're not getting your money for it. But anyway, yeah, quite an interesting move by AMS in that case. But yeah, hey, it'd be a cool guitar to win for sure. But I'll have to check it out, what they're looking for. Ryan says, I know a guy who tried to make his own pickups and nearly lost a finger. He got them done and then sounded like a whistle. All right, well, yeah, don't lose a finger. That's important. That's that's probably what I would do. So yes, be careful. SB says, I like the 4 guitar, but the number looks dumb in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I would put the number on it. I think that's stupid. Haven't seen Slash with one since that album came out. There you go. I think that says it all, with the number on it. I mean, my knees hurt is here. Good to see you. My knees hurt. It says, what is the choice of beer today? I'm sipping on an Irish Death. Very tasty. I'm not quite sure I've had that beer. But yeah, just a reminder, I'm still on the old San Miguel, and I think I've got another week probably of them left because I got quite a deal on a box. So yeah, and I don't drink too often. Like Saturday nights are my drinking nights, pretty much. So I'll just have a couple on a Saturday. I might sip one on a Friday, and that's about it. So yeah, it takes me a while to get through these boxes, but yeah, San Miguel, very cool. Reminds me of times in sunnier climates and crazy adventures with some of my best friends. And there's nothing wrong with having crazy adventures with your best friends. It's some of the best times I've had. Anyway, cheers. My knees hurt. Hope you're doing well and enjoy that Irish Death. Sounds weird to say, but anyway. Anyways, Todd Moore says, to SB, the number is a stupid sticker. You don't have to put it on. I won't because I'm going to sell it to Dave after I win. I mean, if you're going to do me a good deal, Todd, we can think about it. But yeah, don't put the sticker on it if you're going to sell it to me for sure. And yeah, hope you're going to give me a good discount now. SB says, I only have one Marshall. There you go. In terms of everyone having guitars, yeah. I just I just feel that I'm better off wasting my money on guitars than wasting it on anything else I'd waste it on, which I would, for sure. um, SB says, Todd, I do the same. Guys, you're all trying to sell me guitars. What's going on? Um, Benny says, SB, I think the Duncan 59 is in the category of modern PAFs. Alnico 5 magnets as opposed to the Alnico 4 or 2, and perhaps slightly higher wind count, I think. Yeah, you could be right on that, 100%. That sounds like what it is. But yeah, I've never really looked into other PAFs, to be honest with you. I know Gibson will tell you that like burst bookers are their modern take and so forth of the PAF. I never really bought into anything Gibson says, but there you go. um, Ryan says I tried an SE Silver Sky at L&M. I loved it. There you go. Yeah, I think they're cool. Obviously, people are liking them. Todd says, Dave, please don't say I'm going to push one out tomorrow again, please. Why, Todd? I am going to push one out tomorrow. I'm in a video. You guys get your minds out of the gutter. I know who you guys are. Um, Marcia says, SB, we're in the special I'm number one club. If you guys want to, I think that's fine. I'm not going to read this one out, but then Marcia wanted to add this to the conversation. So I don't even know what to say to that. It's such a surprising comment. Um, Anyways, we'll leave that there. Uh, Daniel says, I don't have a Silver Sky, but I do get to play one often, and it's a great guitar for the price. Probably be my next guitar. Very cool. Yeah, listen, if you're down and you like it, you should make it one of your guitars. I think I will, if they bring out nicer, cooler colors, I will add one. Because I do think they're kind of nice. That Strat shape, it's iconic. And PRS make great guitars. There's no denying that. Ryan says 1960 Melody Maker is a great guitar, and you could get one for 3 to 5 thousand. Yeah, I remember when not so long ago you could pick one of those up for under 2 grand. But yeah, 3 to 5 now, and it's true. I mean, look, when it comes to 59s, 60s guitars, I think you gotta step away from the mainstream models like the Les Pauls and so forth, the SGs, the Telecasters, the Strats and so forth, or the original year of whatever model. You can get some great 60s guitars for less than a brand new Les Paul. So 50s as well. So it's definitely worth kind of broadening the scope of what you'd consider if you want to get a birth year or a birthday even guitar. Um, yeah, fit like a 59 Les Paul burst. It's going to cost you probably price of a decent house. But an ES 125 from the same year will cost you 3 4 grand. So there's definitely a huge difference in what you can buy. And that's going by probably last year's prices as well, because I haven't been keeping up on my vintage prices as much as I had. Um, SB says, "Oh, I didn't know a 59 was considered modern." In terms of the Seymour Duncan. Well, there you go. There you go. Let me see what else we've got here. Scott says, "All right, I'm here 100% now." All right, well, we'll forgive you. Um, Todd says, "Marsh, I'm going to have to ask you to refrain from such offensive language." See, Todd taking care of the offensive language people. It's all right, we're mostly all over 18. We're all adults, some of us, anyway. Phil says a 65 Strat is unobtainable, but a nice idea. Again, yeah, a Strat could be all right. But there are others. There are others. Benny says, I've also gotten just about as tired of the term modern as I've previously been of vintage. Definitely two terms that are overused almost as much as rare or very rare or super rare or whatever variation of rare people use. I saw someone today had a super rare Les Paul Studio. It's not rare, pal. Not at all. Anyways, Scott Bogfoot says, was meeting with my account all day. Good news is I can still afford to buy guitars as long as I don't eat. Well, I mean, like, it's if as long as it's not essential, that's fine. Uh, who needs to eat, says Ryan. Indeed, guitars are eat. I know what I'm choosing. Um, it's when you've got a sickness, you choose whatever it is over eating. Glenn says, I'm doing good, Joe. Hope you are well. Indeed. And Grandpa Joe looking out for all of us. Glad to see all that. Glenn says, Dr. Evil Wrench, that's Scott, by the way. What was that guitar you were playing on Runaway Train today? Yeah, we want to know more about your guitars and your videos, Scott. My knees hurt says, I'm after an SG, but I don't know what one, what kind, a junior, a 1P90 pickup. SG Juniors are great. SG Specials are my favorite guitar, so take a look at them. SG Standards are great. SGs are great in general. So yeah, I love the SG Special, and my favorite thing about it is they're usually the cheapest ones. If you're looking at the Epiphone range, do yourself a favor, look at the Epiphone SG Special, the Pelham faded Pelham blue one with the 2P90s. It's an amazing guitar for the money. I think it's still only like $350. Excellent guitar. Check it out and let me know that you love it. I mean, you don't have to, but it's all good. Richard says demand has fallen off for a lot of makers. Many guitar companies overbuilt during the so-called pandemic. What happened was, and I think guitar companies were caught a little bit by retailers. So retailers were struggling to get orders. Like the manufacturers weren't making guitars fast enough. So what happened was retailers, large companies like Guitar Center and Sweetwater, stuff like that, put in huge orders for things because they had this anticipation there was going to be lots of customers picking up these guitars. But the likes of Fender, Epiphone, Gibson, all those orders went in, and it was months and months later, and the companies were like, we don't need that anymore. Demand has died down. So now the companies are left with lots of guitars on their hands that had been ordered, so they made them, and now they had no one to buy them. So that's why we're going to actually start seeing deals on a lot of things fairly soon, I think, because they need to start clearing out space for next year's models, or the new stuff they're going to announce next year, which are currently being in production, I believe. So keep an eye out. You will see good deals, I think, this Black Friday and holiday season, as they put it. But yeah, you're 100% right, Richard. They definitely built more than they needed to, and it was because the orders went in and then later got cancelled. Benny says to SB Modern, PAFs are the ones that started coming out in the late 60s and early 70s. Good to know, actually, yeah, if you're in the market for PAFs. My knees hurt says, I may just go Epi SG. My playing doesn't warrant high cost gear. I always found that the Gibson SG range is actually, it's a lot more affordable than say Les Paul is anyway. I'm not sure fully of the pricing, but like you're talking low four figures. You're talking like, I don't know, somewhere between 12 and 1500 for an SG with a Gibson on the headstock. But that Epiphone SG with the P90s, the SG Special, is an amazing guitar. Check out Colin's video on it as well. He did a really good rundown of comparing SGs, actually, the Custom Shop Standard and the Epiphone, I believe. I think it was a Standard. But yeah, he did a great job comparing them, and he was like, the Epiphone holds its own against them. He did say the Custom Shop, which was like, I think $4,000 in his video, was like, it is a step above, but just about. So definitely check out that Epiphone. I think it's a great guitar, and it's so surprising how good it is for the money. T-Ball says 36 here and only 20 likes. Yes, indeed, folks. If you're watching, give us a like. That'd be super cool. We're up to 28 since Anthony posted that. But as Glenn said, 50 likes, and we do the whole show from Hawaii next week. We won't, but I'll get a backdrop or something. Ryan says, yeah, Richard, here the Squires and Player Fenders are going to be dropping in price. I've heard the very same thing. Yeah, big orders were cancelled for those. Scott says, Epiphone / models at Long and McQuaid are $200 off. Very cool. Yeah, well, like Thomann, Andertons, anywhere in Europe, they don't have them in stock. Anywhere that I usually shop, they don't have them in stock at any of the finishes. SB says, I didn't know, I assumed a 59 would be close to a 59. That makes sense to me. It does. Daniel says, high prices gear really doesn't matter. Yeah. And even like Gibson are now saying, buy the Epiphone, put the Gibson pickup in it. That's the whole thing about the Gibson pickup shop that they're selling. They just started. They want to have people, upgrade their Epiphones, and I think they're going to make it easier. And then they just put out a video this week how to install humbucker pickups, so they're definitely going to be pushing that. And I think it's going to be more of a thing. But definitely, there's less and less need, I think, to spend big money on guitars compared to how there used to be, because cheaper guitars are getting better and better. But there is still a difference in quality, to be honest. Um, you go, but not to me, it's not worth a lot of the time the big jump in price, and especially if quality control isn't good. So there you go. Matt von Bosch says peach guitars in the UK have the Slash Appetite and Vermilion colors for sale at 4.99. No Anaconda though. Very cool, Matt. I always forget about peach guitars. I don't know why. I've never bought anything from them, but I will have a look now and see. Maybe they'll have an Anaconda burst in the warehouse or something they can sell me. But yeah, thanks Matt. I appreciate that. I will definitely look it up. Vermilion color. I don't know if I want that one, but we'll see. um, anyway, with the $200 off, I think it's a good price. So I think I will try and pick one up by the end of the year if they still have them. Daniel says, how much your gear costs doesn't matter. Indeed, yeah, we got you. My knees hurt says, most of my gear is low cost. Nothing wrong with that. Richard says, just because you may not be the best player doesn't mean you can't enjoy a really sweet guitar. And I appreciate that so much, because that's exactly how I feel. I'm not the best guitar player. I'm probably not even in the top 10 guitar players. I hope nobody takes that serious. But yeah, I love a nice guitar regardless. Money's Heart says, my Hamer Slammer has grooves in frets 1 and 2 on the low strings. My $300 guitar feels as nice as my $1,500 guitar. My favorite guitar, I think it's my favorite guitar I've ever owned, is my Epiphone SG Special, which, as I've said a few times already, was €350. Unbelievable that a €350 guitar can be just a great guitar. I'm very surprised about it. Ryan says, I have my dad's old 83 Yamaha acoustic. The frets looks like they were drawn on with a marker, and the fretboard has a huge divots in it. Still plays fine. There you go. It still plays fine. That's all you need. Marcia says, Dave needs a reverb profile pic. His handsome face will sell his gear faster or will make people more suspicious. Well, thank you, Marcia. I will definitely consider that. I don't want to make people suspicious, or I don't know. Does that mean I can get more money for my gear? I think. No, I appreciate that. Thanks so much. I'll have a look at putting in a picture. We'll see how it goes. I don't like people knowing it's me selling stuff. Benny says, and then I say I don't like people knowing, and I come on my YouTube channel that has 6,000 subscribers. I'm like, hey, I'm selling stuff. So I'm just a weird person. Benny says, I think the 59 name rather than 57 is supposed to allude to it being a later style of PAF pickup. Interesting. Yeah, names. They probably just slapped the name on because people will be like, oh, 59, I'll buy it. Because it has that connotation. 59 means it's better somehow in the guitar world, which I've never found to be the case, to be quite honest, but there you go. Murphy Slab says, picking up a new Murphy 68 Custom today, couldn't sleep last night. Yeah, I don't blame you. That sounds great. Looking forward to hearing what you think of it. Mike, yeah, that'd be cool to know. So I wouldn't be able to sleep either, so good stuff. Hope it goes well for you. Scott says, what's everyone's thoughts on Plek? Some of my guitars are, but what's the point if no places can afford to have a Plek machine? Yeah, because they're expensive. They're very expensive. Like house money expensive. So yeah, I think the Plek thing, if you know how to set up your guitar, is it really necessary? Or someone who can do it for you really well? Like, usually I will get Marty down the road to set up my guitars for me. Dude knows what he's doing. They always come back playing great. So he doesn't have a Plek machine. He just does it by hand. And Thoman, I think, charged €300, 250, €300 to Plek your guitar. I think maybe it's more. I can't remember. But they're the only ones I know who have a Plek machine. Who I do business with anyway. I don't think I'd like to get it done at some point just to see, does it make that big a difference? I don't think I would notice too much of a difference to It's just that someone setting up the guitar properly. Glenn says my 82 PB T60 has fretware at the cowboy chords. Well, yeah, that's where it's going to get it. In my collection, I would imagine. Scott says I only play guitars that I want to clean next. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. Yeah, for sure. SB says, you must be right, man. I didn't have the hunk of the PAFs have. I know replicas, but 500 for a set is crazy for my hobo budget. Yeah, 500 for a set. I mean, it's pretty rough, 500 for a set of pickups, to be honest. Because you can legit buy decent guitar for that money, which is kind of disgraceful. But there you go, you can. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew a better answer for PAFs at a reasonable price, but hey, maybe we'll look into that this week. Richard says Plexi guitars are great, but you still need a smart, qualified operator who knows about guitars. That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not quite sure how the whole thing works, but yeah, no, a human has to set it up and everything, right? Ryan says, nice Murphy. I have a 68 custom or I2, beautiful guitar, which is good to know. Glenn says, I thought about plecking my Epi, but I bought it when I bought it, but I'm afraid I wouldn't like it. Then what? Yeah, you lose quite a bit of return value on that. They won't return the price, the value of the plec, will they? So yeah, just remove the plecking. Just put it back to playing like shit for me. That'd be great. There you go. Murphy's Lab says, clean guitars, lol. Been there for sure. Anyways, I'll drink to that. Good stuff. Phil says Dylan DAFs go for 279 US for a set. There you go. That sounds about right. Yeah, again, I've never played them myself. I think it was Al was here saying that he got them and they were great. Which is good. Marcia says they should have painted the 4 on the Slash guitar instead of putting stupid stickers. I think they knew people wouldn't want the 4 on it. That's why they made it a sticker. But yeah, if they had, it'd kind of make it more collectible, possibly. But because I think a lot of people are going to get that guitar and just take any reference to Slash off it. And I actually think most people who bought it as a collector's item rather than as a guitar. So that's disappointing. But hey, what can you do? B. Kelly 1975 says, I rotate my guitars. I haven't had to refret. I mean, that's what you got to do. I think if you got more than one guitar, rotate them, and yeah, you'll have less stuff like that to contend with. So I absolutely agree with you. That's the way to go. That's the way I do it, and I haven't had to refret anything ever. And if I get near to refretting, I'll just sell it. So yeah, you can have $100 off for the refret. I had no idea how much a refret would cost, to be honest. Probably more than $100. Quilter's Brewery produces Irish Death. Not sure what's with the name, but it's a dark coloured ale that's 7.8% and very tasty. 7.8%. Jeez. Yeah, that's some serious business right there. Good stuff. I've never heard of it, but hey, I'll have a look up at some point. Quilter's Brewery. I have to see what that's all about. Marcia says, or they could have put the sticker on under the clear coat, at least like they've done with other decals in the past. Yeah, they could have. I think it's silly, the whole sticker decal thing. I don't like it. But hey, they had to do something, right? Gibson and their new promotional things they're doing is just ridiculous. But we'll see. We'll see what other promotional guitars they bring out and what other promotional stuff. I do have an order for something from Gibson, which was supposed to come in November. They've just updated it to say it's coming now in January, but we'll get into that when it arrives. I'll show you guys what it is. But I just think they're getting into such varied businesses that it's gonna go wrong for them at some point, and it's definitely a bad omen that they're branching out further from guitars. They did it before and they nearly went bankrupt. Not with this ownership, but with the previous one. So anyway, as long as they don't bring back robo tuners, we're all right. Benny Larson says to SB, you can certainly get a nice set of pickups for under 500, and SB's gonna look, which we appreciate. Yeah, I'd need to look into it a bit more. If I can find anything for you, I will. With the set of Dirty Fingers that I bought for the Flying V, I got a good deal on them. Reverb's a great place for people selling pickups because they've just replaced them. So I got a really good deal on the ones that I bought. It's not necessarily, you're not always going to pay, huge money for pickups people are selling. Sometimes people just want to sell just to get rid of stuff, so they put them at a good price. Certainly what happened with my Dirty Fingers. That does sound like it sound bad when you say it that way. But yeah, Dirty Fingers are great pickups. They're not like PAFs at all, but check them out. Um, I've only got one for sale, so I'm not going to try and sell you two because I don't know. Actually, I have a pickup here. I don't know what it is. It's a Gibson pickup of some description. Um, I know it's a Gibson one because it has the patent number thingy that's on all Gibson humbuckers at the back there. I think it's a burst bucker, but I'm not sure. It's definitely a modernish Gibson pickup. It doesn't, to me, it didn't sound great in but compared to the Dirty Fingers, which is very, very hot. So, um, yeah, that's there. I don't know what to do with that because I don't know exactly what model it is. Um, I know maybe it'll end up in a Chord Dave giveaway at some point. It might, maybe it won't. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, pickups are something people sometimes just sell. So check out Reverb for good pickups. Daniel says Gibson, the only company that has so many flawed guitars that they had to make a custom demo shop for them. It's a very good point. They're like, yeah, we fucked up this guitar. Do you want to buy it for a slight discount? Uh, thanks, Gibson. Um, Todd says, Dave, legit, if I win the Slash LP, you will have the first opportunity to get it at a cool discount. Well, Todd, I do appreciate that very much. I will have to count my shekels and see if there's enough in the coffers. I have a couple of things and I'm waiting for it to come off so that I can start buying guitars again. I think I'm only really going to be selling for a little bit, but it just depends. Just depends. I don't want to sell the ones that I'm thinking of selling, but if I do sell them, it'll go a long way towards a couple of projects I'm working on, and that might be worth it in the long run. So we'll see. I'm thinking about it over the weekend. I'll decide on Monday what I'm going to do. Ryan says, I hear a lot of people aren't really impressed with the PAFs. Yeah, it never bothered me with PAFs. I think with PAFs, it comes down to some of them are good and some of them are, it's just hype a little bit. So anyway, I've never been blown away by them, to be honest. Stephen Ravel says, does anyone string their Gibson or Epiphone guitars over or through the tailpiece? I tried it last week. My LP feels different, but I haven't noticed anything with the sound. I don't personally. It's just. I mean, do I? Only currently my Flying V has a Tunematic and tailpiece. So yeah, I don't. I just string it normally through the thing. But yeah, I mean, it does definitely make a difference. I think in feel, in sound, I'm not sure it does. But I'm interested to know other people's thoughts on that. To be honest, Steve. So yeah, thanks for asking that. That's cool. Ken says, thanks for responding with a reply. Great podcast. So glad to have found your chat. Thanks, Ken. Glad to have you here. And yeah, feel free to pop in questions. Try to answer every question that's popped into the chat there every week. Obviously, at the minute, we can do that because we're not super big. But yeah, that's the goal at the minute, is to answer everything. So we'll do our best. And sometimes it means we run over time. But hey, what else would I be doing? It's finish the podcast, the stream, the show, and go to bed. That's because it's after midnight when I finish. So yeah, we'll do it. Merce says, my birthing comment was a reply to Todd Moore's comment about never saying you're pushing Win Out tomorrow ever again. Listen, you and Todd can team up. I'm just saying it's I'm keeping a close eye on you two. SB says, I'll just admit I'm the pickup rabbit hole and that doesn't have glory in it. I made Dave read it. All right, SB. All right, I'm on to you. I know what you're doing. You guys do take advantage of that Dave will read everything thing. And it's great. I love it. Richard says top wrapping doesn't really sound different. It feels a bit more slinky in my opinion. I agree with that. That's what I would say. Penny says super rare LP studio. Lol. Yeah. Yeah, see everything went super rare on it at some point. But anyway, reverb sellers, huh? Uh, Daniel says the new Sterling Cutlass is very underrated. Roasted maple neck locking tuners, all for under 600. Yeah, looks like a nice guitar. Haven't got my hands on one yet. It's been one of those years. Haven't picked up a lot this year, but it does. That Sterling guitar is definitely on my list at some point. Hopefully, over the next year, I'll get to pick one up. Let's get Marcia says, Richard, I would guess top wrapping might encourage sliding on shiny metal tails. That could be why it feels slinkier if it's shifting a bit. Yeah, it is supposed to feel a bit slinkier and, makes just, doing bends and stuff a little bit easier, but it's also like less tension on the strings and stuff, or whatever. I don't know. It does feel different. I haven't ever noticed a difference in sound whenever I've played a guitar that was top wrapped. I like how it feels, to be honest. So. Yeah, maybe I should do it on a guitar. Maybe I'll buy a Harley Benton just to do it on that one because it won't matter too much. But then again, maybe not. Excuse me. Benny says, SB, what's your price range for a set? I think he was saying 200 or so. My knees hurt. Only way I would own a blue guitar is if it was given to me. Red is the only color I pay for. Well, interesting. That is quite a controversial comment around here. Yeah, hey, we all got our tastes. It's cool. Red guitars are all right. Yeah, nothing against them. SB says under 200, but if it's way far off, I'll look at every type, really. Maybe I go heavy metal with it. Interesting. Glenn says, who the F you call an adult? I don't need this kind of abuse. Hey, Glenn. You know I wasn't talking about you. Come on, man. It's all good. We're cool. We're cool. Um, Glenn's still here, right? Um, I don't know how long I'm gonna have to go and chat before I find out. Anthony says, doesn't matter how good the discount, the wife will still say no. Well, we can send an invoice that says it's something else. It's all good. The whole you've won a competition invoice. These are always good. Jojo's here. Good to see you, Jojo. Thanks for dropping in. Says, any thought on good options to make a custom build yourself? Ever reviewed those? Do you mean like the DIY kits and things? I haven't reviewed one, but um, yeah, I've made a couple in the past. I think they're a good fun project, and I think if you know kind of what you're doing in terms of adding additional parts that don't come in the same box, I think you can make something really, really cool. In terms of like adding higher end pickups and electronics and so forth. That's something that's really cool to do, and just learn how to do that sort of thing. And then obviously adding your own paint finish and lacquers or whatever kind of finish you're doing is a lot of fun as well. So yeah, I like them. I think it's a great little hobby to have. I haven't done one in a while, so and I think I said at one point early this year that I was going to do a couple on the channel over the summer, but never got around to it. So yeah, maybe in the new year we'll try and get something like that done. I always wanted to do stuff like that on the channel. Maybe do some sort of collaborative build where like we vote on what parts to put in it and what kind of colors and stuff to do. But yeah, Jojo, it's definitely a cool hobby. I enjoy doing it when I do. Ryan says, check out Solo Guitars. Yeah, they do good kits that you can use as well. Some good channels on YouTube that specifically do those kits, which is great. Scott says, that guitar today was my Epiphone master built DR500 MC EVS with a Shadow HD2 preamp. Not many like it. It's my number one guitar. Sometimes the guitar is all I need. I should have bought multiples of it. It's a very cool looking guitar, Scott. I do think it looks great. Yeah, I was struck by it as well when I was watching your videos last week, I think. And then I did see your new ones today as well. So they look great. And good job in putting out the videos. Really enjoying them. Jojo says, I wonder what Todd Moore has to say about it too. Well, I'm sure he'll let us know. Andrew Collins says, yes, Squire guitars are already dropping in price. Indeed, yeah, we're seeing some good deals on them out there already. I believe there's actually, I think, was there new Squires this week? Yeah, I think there was. Some limited edition ones come out towards the end of the year. And I think Andertons do a video on new Squires. They're out then in that case. some cool stuff from Squire this year. They've had a great year. Either way, Gibson will make money. T-Ball, that is true. That is sadly true. And Glenn says, I received an email from Gibson after checking on my 2008 SG. They made 400 of my model. Is it rare? F no, it's still an SG limited. Yes, rare, no. And it's original rare listings. Don't get me started. Okay, I won't. So is it rare or is it medium rare? I'm not really sure what's going on here. Glenn says, I'm pretty sure Black Friday Squire will be crazy. It might be. It might be some super cool deals, especially on those 40th anniversary models. Look out for those. I'm hoping there'll be some good deals on those. Glenn says 2008 faded 3 pickup special. Very nice. That sounds cool. That sounds very cool. V Kelly 1975 says, I think I might have a Stratocaster that should. Can't see the follow up to that, but Stratocaster sounds good. Sounds like you got something cool. Ryan says, my favorite guitar is my Dan Electro. I love all my high-end gear, but it's nice and light, and I just keep it in my living room for when I feel like playing. Nothing wrong with that, not at all. Yeah, absolutely. Dan Electro is very cool. And if it's good enough for Jimmy Page, it's good enough for anyone else, really, isn't it? Scott Bogfoot says, hit like. Come on, do it now. All right, Scott, yeah. Yeah, we've caught up. We've got 36 viewers and 34 likes, so we're doing pretty good. And thank you to all of you who have hit that like button and who are viewing. It's super cool to spend my Saturday night with you guys, no matter where you are. And here's the thing: if you've been here never before, if this is your first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Then you can join us in the chat. And if it's your first time on the stream, hit the hello button. There isn't a hello button; you got to type it in. But like, say hello to us. Some of the people here are really cool. And then there's other people as well. I'm not going to mention any names, but they usually will let you know who they are. Just kidding. Everyone here is cool. Benny says to SB, I'd contact Bootstrap Pickups and ask if they can give you a heads up on when you get humbuckers back in stock. If you can't wait, Tone Rider and Iron Gear, both UK, get good reviews. Tone Rider get excellent reviews, and they're like surprisingly good for the price. Yeah, so in terms of the reviews that they get, I mean, haven't ever played them, but always tempted to pick them up. And maybe that's an option to do a guitar kit and put some Tone Riders and see how they sound. Definitely a good shout there, Benny. Phil says, Trogley still has a Vermilion Burst / Les Paul with a very light fretboard. He might have it for a long time. Glenn says, I have a slick telly, cost me $249 and I won't get rid of it for anything. I'll give you $260 for it. How about that? Let me know in the comment section. I'm just kidding, I won't. But anyway, Ryan says, you can do a great fret level with knife sharpening stones. That sounds like a good advice right there. Richard says, please don't use a whetstone on your frets, Ryan. We're going to get into what we're using. I know how the rest of the stream is going to go. Anyway, guys, my niece says, my living room is my studio. I have no couch, just an office chair, DAW, pedal board in front of me, piano at my back, at my right, drums directly behind me, rack of guitars on the left, beer in the fridge. Nothing wrong with that at all. My knees hurt. That sounds good to me. If only that was the setup I had. But yeah, there's a guy, I hope you're watching. There's a guy in my neighborhood who started playing the drums, and I know over the summer, and every night he's playing the drums, and the poor dude has no rhythm. He's doing his best, but he's got no rhythm. He's just not good. And last night he got a guitarist to come and play with him. And thankfully I was going out last night, and I only got to listen or hear them for a few minutes. But Jesus Christ. It was bad. It was bad, guys. But anyway, that's why I don't have drums in my house, because my neighbors would think I'd be bad. They're bad enough when I play guitar loudly. So anyway. Ryan says, I use a 16,000 G polishing stone. Hey, if it works for you, it works for you. That's all good. Scott says, a sharpening stone can have the same grit, but I'd probably remove material instead of refolding it. But I'd like to see the results. There you go. And Ryan says, I don't use some Canadian Tire 225 out of 1000 grit camping whetstone. And all right, we're getting technical. Richard says a whetstone is made to cut high density carbon forged steel. You may level your frets a few times with one, and then you will need to replace them. It's what works for each individual and what they want to do. It's all good. Do whatever you want with your guitar. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's in the use case on the back of the packaging. Butterfly Effect is here. Good to see you, Butterfly. Hope you were doing well. And Glenn's comment says, B-Fly, hello. For some reason, I thought it said hero. So Glenn claiming that Butterfly Effect was his hero, which I wouldn't be surprised by. That sounds right to me. Daniel says, I just use steel wool on my frets. A lot of people do. Ryan says, what do you think a file is made for? A polishing stone is 100 times finer than a file. I'm just gonna not get involved in the discussion because I don't have anything to add to it. That's all. That's the only reason why. My niece says, I hate working on my guitars. That's why I love Marty so much, because if it's something I don't want to do, I just bring it down to him. SB says, I looked him up. Thank you, Benny. There you go. Indeed. Thanks for that. That was good advice, Benny, that you were giving in about the pickups. For sure. So yeah, thanks for that. Butterfly Effect says, they say, don't use steel wool on electric. It sticks to the magnet. Use Scotch-Brite. Yeah. I've heard that too. A lot of people use steel wool though. But I have heard what you're saying. T-Ball says, I like the fret polishing kit from Music Nomad. They make really good stuff. They do. They're not cheap for a reason. And like the cheap stuff is rarely the good stuff. And the good stuff is rarely the cheap stuff. So yeah, Music Nomad makes some good stuff from what I know of them. V Kelly 1975 says, Gibson Plek their new guitars from the factory. I got an ES339 figured in Blueberry Burst. Yeah, that Blueberry Burst, man, that's a cool finish. I'm a big fan of what they're doing with that finish. And although there was the one where they had the like more purple up the top, and I didn't like that. But yeah, Blueberry Burst is nice. I like it overall. But yeah, whether they plek them in all their new guitars, I hadn't heard that. But if they do, hopefully it'll lead to less QC issues. But there you go. Ryan says, I hear that too, formerly known as a butterfly effect. There you go. Richard says, you don't level the frets with a file. You should only do the finishing work with a quality one made for the job. But you do what you want. Indeed. SB says, oh man, the Mad Shop comment was comedy magic. It got me hard. All right, stop with the Dave will read this stuff. Glenn says, the Gibson pickup that might be a burst booker sounds like a mega ultra rare model. Yeah, everything is mega ultra rare these days if you're selling it. Ryan says, getting an Epiphone pleked would be worth it. Most other guitars in that range seem to have decent frets. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Scott says, ever see a top wrapped 12 string? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Scott Steves says, what are you drinking? I am currently drinking San Miguel, a bottle of San Miguel Especial. So cheers. Scott, hope you're doing well. Thanks for dropping in. Scott says, is there a 12 string junior LP or SG? A 12 string juniors? I don't think so. I've never seen them. It'd be weird. It would look weird. So yeah, if you find one, let me know. Ryan says, Richard, go do a little research. Plenty of luthiers use stones to do a fretwork. Again, not talking about a 225 Norton stone, but a 10k plus polishing stone. It's all good. It's all good. Todd Moore says, Jojo, hey cuz, yeah, I've seen some decent kits available and have thought about getting a Strat style to build out and finish myself. I'd love to see if you did that, Todd, and see what you come up with and what design you put out and everything. That would be super cool. Maybe we should all do one. like a competition or something. Who does the best guitar build? That'd be great. My niece says, where are the deals on Squires? All the major retailers will have them towards the end of the month, like in the Black Friday time period. So Sweetwater's, your AMS, your Zounds, your L&M in Canada, your well, I don't know if Tolman will bother doing it. They work on their own kind of time frames. In the UK, like Andertons and so forth, I expect to see big Black Friday deals. So yeah, all over. Just keep an eye on the main dealers. You'll see deals on them there. Daniel says, do you all like good rolled edges or a bond neck? Rolled edges are really nice. Yeah, I like that a lot. Todd says to Jojo, I'd have to find some talented artists to put a good custom paint job if I did. Any ideas? I'm thinking that's a personal comment right there. There you go. Glenn says, hold out knees. I think Squire will be popping in the next week or two. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. T-Ball says, you do a guitar kit on the channel. I vote for the color black. Who's with me? I mean, we can involve the color black somewhere along the way. There will not be a solid black. There will be mixed in with color. I just think, just for those of you who are not aware, I'd mentioned on the show once that I would always pick any other color over black or white guitars, and everyone now just goes crazy thinking I hate black guitars or white guitars, which is not the case. But hey, it's all fun. Someday I'm just going to buy a black guitar just to piss everyone off, and everyone's going to be like, what? And heads are going to explode. It's going to be fun. Jojo says, yeah, I have several bodies thinking about a custom build next year. I've got the carving and painting skills to make a beast. Make that beast. Sounds great, Jojo. Yeah, absolutely. Join up with us and let us know what that looks like. I'm excited already. And Glenn says, I vote black, T-Ball. No worries, dudes. You know, we can incorporate black into any design that we come up with. Todd says, I've been waiting for the bug to bite and get you to do that. Glad that's in your mind and that you're in the chat. Indeed. Glad to have you, Jojo. And Todd is always welcome as well. Todd says, it's me. I'm the other people. No, you're not the other people. There's a certain people, who are other people. Mention no names, but it's not you, Todd. It's not you, Todd. I'm just kidding. Jojo says, yeah, I've been doing a lot more music-wise, waiting for things to settle and get back to creative work. Building and painting will be the next steps, probably in spring. Very cool. Spring is a good time. T-Ball says, this channel is the island of misfit guitar players. That's what I should have called it. Damn it. May have to change the name of the channel. Glenn says, it was funny. Anderton's has an exclusive green Squire contemporary telly, and Sweetwater has the same exclusive green telly. Yeah, they're exclusive to their location, like probably to their town. I don't know, but yeah, I think they get the picks of exclusives in Europe, I believe, Anderton's, because they're selling all over the world pretty much. Scott says, anyone like Austrian Death Machine? Just gonna roll on. Matt von Bosch says, I can recommend Iron Gear pickups. I have a set of Rolling Mills in my Epi LP. Great pickups, pretty affordable. Thanks for letting us know, Matt. That's super cool. SB, I'm sure we'll be interested in checking them out. Jojo says, still love my 83 Ibanez Artist solid body. Those are cool. So yeah, I would agree with you there for sure. Let's see. Glenn says, I'm not cool. You're kind of cool, Glenn. It's all right. You're kind of cool. Phil says, thanks for the stream, Dave. Have a great evening. Good night, all. Take care, Phil. Hope you're well. Have a great week. And I'm sure we will talk to you next week. I hope. Glenn says, 260, not a chance. Not even if Ryan's cute cousin delivers the cash. Well, there goes my second offer. Dang it. Marcia says, by the way, Dave, I remember you said you might be interested in buying an acoustic guitar. Yeah, maybe it'll happen at some point. It's not on my list of important things to do, but I'll get around to it eventually. A new one. I do have one. It's right there. It stares at me all the time. So he said there was a good sale from Taylor where you can buy a certain model. I forget which one, and then you can add a second baby Taylor. I think for 200 or 250. That normally costs a lot more. Yeah, I saw that. I saw they do that on a fairly regular basis, like maybe once a year or something like that. I've seen it a few times, but yeah, adding a new acoustic is not top of my list of things. I said I have a few things going on right now that I'm like I'd like to get on the board of in progress. So yeah, a couple of projects that I'm eagerly trying to fund. So purchases are going to be down and sales are going to be up. I think if I commit to these things. Anyway, yeah, I have a Tanglewood Epiphone or a Tanglewood acoustic that I've had there. God, how old was I? Maybe 13 or 14 when I bought it or got it as a gift for the old Christmas when I was a kid. And it's a great guitar. It's just, it needs a refurbishing. It needs a lot of work to get it back up to a good standard. So that's probably a project I'll take on at some point. I'm a little bit weary because I haven't really ever worked on acoustics, so I will probably make a bollocks of it. But still, I'll try. But yeah, I might pick one up as well at some point. Like I think that there's some really good cheap acoustics out there as well, so I might pick up something like that next year sometime. But I appreciate it. Yeah, those baby Taylors are kind of interesting to me as well, so I would like to check one out. I think. I like the PRS parlor guitars that they do. What are they like the? I can't remember what they're called, but they're pretty cool looking ones, and they've got some nice new colors out as well. So those are always interesting. Scott says Dave's my hero. I got to suck up for being late. It's fine, Scott. You need no sucking up needed. We'll you're on a final warning. You might get fired next week, but it's all good. It's all good. No, you won't get fired. Don't worry about it. There's no such thing as late around here, even for the mods. Don't worry about it. But I appreciate being your hero. That's cool. Marshall says the cheaper guitar. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. I get where you're coming from for sure. Scott says, or Glenn says, Scott, how long has it been snowing? That's a weird question. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Where are we? Anthony says, I found the easiest, most hassle free technique to level my frets was to drop it off at the luthier shop. Indeed, that is the best and easiest way. I enjoy that one myself. You always get the results you want from that, in my experience. Glenn says, you're my hero, Dave. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. I wouldn't recommend it. It's quite painful and stressful. So, and anxious ridden. And what else? It's just full of weirdness. So yeah, don't recommend it, but enjoy your experience, just like I'm doing the best with mine. Daniel says it's time to open the Johnny Walker. Yeah, yeah, if I had some, for sure. More of a bourbon guy than a Scotch guy, but hey, to each his own. And yeah, I have to restock my bottles, I think, of that stuff. Mars says, by the way, I really like the cleaning kit from PRS. I was able to find one on eBay on the cheap several years ago, and I'm still using the same kit. It is a really good quality product. I've never had any PRS product that wasn't good. So yeah, I do like the Jim Dunlop one though. As you can see, it's in there behind Lemmy. There's all the formulas and stuff like that, and the kit. So that's what I use. It's a good kit. But yeah, the PRS one is supposed to be good as well. Todd says TCD guitar build off challenge is on. There we go. Next year we start January 1st, and we'll see. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, it'd be a fun challenge. If there's enough people wanting to do it, I think we should do it for the crack. You'd have to make videos and you'd have to post them, or you can send them to me and I'll post them on the channel. And we can I'll put something together and we'll edit them all together. I think that'd be a fun little thing to do as a community, and then just share our guitars with each other. That'd be cool. And yeah, let's think about it. Next year is going to be a big one. Channel's nearly 3 years old, so we should do something fun just to mark that. That might be what to do. I like it, Todd. Good stuff. PRS has nothing but quality stuff. That's from Anthony. Yeah, I agree. Benny says, don't Gibson only plec the nut? You could be right. Now that you've said that, that sounds right. They definitely do something with the nut. I don't know. Anyway, some folks will, I'm sure, tell us what they're doing. Maybe they did plec the nut and they changed it, but I think at some point they did. I don't know, to be honest. I'll have to look into it again, to be honest. But yeah, it sounds right. Todd says, Jojo, that arse is a bomb axe. I remember the day you first showed it to me. Badass. There we go. Interesting. Sounds good. Ryan says, no, they plek the whole fretboard. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, it must be that they have moved on to the whole fretboard now. I definitely heard years ago, probably, that they did plek the nut. But maybe it was part of the whole process as well. I don't know. I know it is part of the process normally, but anyways, D-Ball says, I once had my nut plecked once. It still hurts right before it rains. All right. Well, I'm just going to leave that one right there. It's a whole different channel that we need to discuss that sort of topic. Glenn says, when I change strings, I usually polish the frets, condition the fretboard, and polish the guitar. I enjoy that kind of things. Well, aren't you fancy, sir? Yeah, I do the same. When I change the strings, I give it an all clean up and do the best I can with it to make it look presentable. It's probably the only time the guitars get a good cleaning. So yeah, I'm with you on that. This couple need a good string change in the next couple of days, I think, as well. Wayne says, hello, all you crazy bastards from Cold Colonia. Hello, Wayne. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for dropping in and say hello to us. Glenn says, I've been thinking of doing an LP kit in a Steve Jones white. So yellow is what you want to do. You want to do it in yellow. That's how you pronounce that. No, good stuff, Glenn. I mean, look, it's probably, there's not many more iconic LP customs than Steve Jones, is there? So yeah, that's an interesting one. A nice yellow. Scott says, yeah, the whole fretboard, as far as I know, just a digital fingerprint of the first bad setup the guitar had. But there you go. That's right there. There you go. I'm just going to say that. V Kelly 1975 says, I find the modern Gibson PAFs are not what people are expecting. Yeah, I think you're right. People have this expectation when PAF is mentioned. But there you go. Mark says, in addition to a full build kit, what about a contest to modify Gibson? That could also be fun. I don't know. I don't think it is that fun. Having done it, I mean, look, if you go that route, you got to know you might end up with just a piece of crap. You could also go get a piece of crap with just a kit, though. Yeah. So I mean, look at my experience. The Gibson I did paint and sort out and stuff, made my own. That had no truss rod. So yeah, you don't want that to happen, and things like that. I mean, like from a distance, it looked fine, except for like a few stains on it. But yeah, it wasn't a great guitar, and would need an awful lot of work to get it into a good playable condition. So I'd go the kit route first. But hey, it's an idea. Todd says no Gibsons allowed, which means we're definitely doing a Gibson version now. Just kidding, Todd. No, I agree with you. I don't think they'll be purchasing anymore, except. I will say this, I might get a bump on the channel for it. So sometimes it's from a YouTube creator point of view. If I want to get a big bump, it's been over a year since I had a huge bump on the channel. So yeah, might be just a way to get a lot of views, is make a Gibson video. So that's the only way I would do it, I think. But we'll see. I have no plans to do that, but it's one way of kind of cheating the algorithm to get more views, and more views means more money, which means more money means happier creator, which means more videos. So it works out in the long run. Anyway, Glenn says, we have that hot mic comment on how you really feel about black guitars. Too late to spin it. You don't have nothing recorded, so it's fine. Oh yeah. They're all on YouTube somewhere. Oh well, it's fine. I'll just claim insanity. Scott says, Dave, are you into ES or jazz box guitars? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much the answer is yeah. Yeah, I like ES. I like pretty much a lot of the ES stuff. I do want to add an ES 345 to my collection at some point. I'm still thinking about the ES, the Bonamassa 335. It's not the exact one I would have gone for, but it has a lot of the attributes I would like in an ES guitar to add to my collection. An ES-125 I'd add as well. I like those a lot, even though they're 3/4 scale guitars. I still think they're pretty cool. Probably if I pick up a 50s Gibson, it'll be an ES something. Um, 225, was that out, or is it the 125 I'm thinking of? Uh, yeah, it's been a long week. So, but yeah, the 50s guitar you can pick up relatively cheap. ES guitars from the 50s. Jazz boxes less high on the list, but yeah, something I would be interested in as well. Um, for sure. Joe says, yeah, the artist is nice, solid mahogany wood with SD screamers. I love that thing. It's a beast though, heaven, but fantastic sound. Fantastic sound. Sounds good to me. Ryan says, something tells me there'll be a load of tailors for sale from people who bought that promo. Yes, yes, indeed. Uh, that's exactly what's going to happen. Glenn says, I think you will be doing mostly mods and repairs on Chibsons. Definitely, you would be doing mods and repairs. I mean, everything. Yeah, you're buying. If you buy a Chibson, you're buying a husk. That's all you're buying. Every single thing will have to be replaced. I believe they're getting better in things that are coming with but the electronics are going to be cheap crap, and I mean, like pots are not expensive, so it shouldn't be a problem to put in decent stuff in there. Wiring is always crap. Pickups are always crap. Um, Fretworks and stuff hasn't actually been bad in the ones that I've seen and had, but things like bridges and stuff don't tend to be. The last bridge actually was fine. Yeah, the nut wasn't great. It was just plastic and not very well cut either. I think I referred to it in the video as being cut with a spoon, a blunt spoon, and the tuners were not great on it either. So if you're buying a Gibson and you want because you want it to be further along in the process to rebuild or to make your own, just you're buying a husk. Do what I did with it and sand it down and take everything off it and then put your own electronics and stuff like that on it. Don't leave the Gibson name on it or anything like that. It'll take you a lot of sanding, but it's worth it. Um, yeah, it's worth it to if you buy one to completely make it your own. Um, what I wouldn't recommend it though. I wouldn't recommend it. Buy a kit. It's a better way to do it, and you get I think a lot more fun doing it that way. But if you want to have a neck that's already in place and glued in and stuff like that, Chipson is a way you can go. But you also have to run the risk of it being confiscated when it's shipped. So it's a more dangerous way to go about it. So don't recommend it. But if you do it, just know what you're getting yourself into. Um, so yeah. Anyways, but you're right, Glenn. You're all right. Marcia says, Dave, you don't have to change the channel name, but you could change the live stream name to the Island of Misfit Guitar Players. That might actually draw a lot of people in for the name alone. Could I do that and keep the numbers? Because we're on what's today? 56. Um, yeah, I guess I could do that. I'll think about it and then probably forget about it. I forget to do it, but it's a good name. The Island of Misfit Guitar Players. I think we should grab that one as a community tag in some way or another. Glenn says, does anyone use preamps with a cab instead of an amp head? You know that's my amp right there, right? So I'm not the person to answer that question. And Scott has a link there, by the way, for the top selling guitars of 2022, the video I did a couple weeks ago. And yeah, you can check it out. If you haven't already, you should. A lot of people watched it. And in comparison to how many people are watching videos lately, so it's going well. It's interesting. I love seeing your guys' thoughts on those rankings or the sales rankings anyway. Anthony says purchases are definitely down in my house. The price of living is skyrocketing. Yeah, it's been a rough couple of months on that front, to be honest. Yeah, but that's how it goes for everyone at the moment. We're all in the same boat on that one. Mark says, Todd, it's nice you're able to be here and chat today. We always miss you and others when you can't make it. Indeed we do. But there you go. The Butterfly Effect says, where is the Baby Taylor link? I don't know where the link is, but if Marsha has it, maybe she can send it on to Scott and he'll pop it in there. Todd says, Marsha, thank you. I'm glad I was able to make it. Missed the last two due to the passing of my mother-in-law. Happy to be back. Well, we're sorry to hear that, Todd, but yes, we're happy to have you back. Best wishes to you and your folks over there. But yeah, we are always glad to have you. And as I said, we do miss any of you who are here. Once you're in here, we do recognize when you're not here. We're like, hey, wonder where so and so is this week, and then we talk about you behind your back. Um, we don't really. Glenn says, I need a name for my channel. I'm thinking about stealing the Misfits name. Fair warning. Don't do it, Glenn. I'll come after you. Uh, if you want to do it, we can negotiate a deal. T-Ball says, Glenn, you're welcome to it. No, he's not. It's this channel first, all right? All right, no, you can't have it, Glenn. I'm just kidding. So let me see. We've got Ryan says, I made a beautiful guitar once, a Kleenex box and elastic bands. I mean, there you go. That's one way of doing it. Scott says, I'll start my guitar build tomorrow. I have an idea. Uh-oh. Whenever somebody declares they have an idea, it never ends well. So something's going down. Marshall says, the Taylor sale is on the Taylor homepage. So there you go. Onto the Taylor homepage and check it out if you're into it. Daniel says, if Gibson plecks the nut, they need a better plec machine. They need a plec machine for their plec machine. That's what they need. Scott says, Ryan should make a cigar box guitar. Those are fun. And Glenn says, Scott, I lost my job, but once, I didn't really lose it. I knew where it was. Just every time I went there, someone else was doing it. There you go. Yeah. That same thing happened to me. One time, I told my boss to shove his job, and guess what? He didn't. He gave it to someone else. Scott says, a plec only tells you how bad it was from the factory. It's a good point. Todd Moore says, I've tinkered with and refinished a few existing guitars over the years, but this time will be my first building one for real. You should be fun. Glad you like the idea, Dave. Indeed, I do. I think it's a great thing to do. I've only done 3 or 4 kits over the years, but they are good fun. You just play around with them. You put your own ideas in them. I had a really nice one a few years ago. The first one I did was in Les Paul, and it was just driving me crazy. I couldn't get the finish right. So there was a little just circle where the finish was gone, and it kind of, I guess, made it look relic'd a little bit. I asked because it was, applying the finish and sanding and applying and sanding and stuff, and it just wasn't going where I wanted it to, and it ended up just looking a bit relic'd. I don't know where that guitar got to. It was a terrible kit though, so it wasn't in great shape or anything when I was finished with it. But I was actually making it for another project. So anyway, good times. I enjoy doing those kits. They're good fun. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what you do, man. It'll be great. Jim Woodard's here. Good to see you, Jim. Hope you're well. Says hello, folks from around the world. Indeed, good to have you folks coming here on a Saturday night. In fact, let's cheers to the 3 Chord Dave community. Love every single one of you. Thanks so much for dropping in, and sláinte it to all of you. Ryan says, I'd like to make one too. This is going to be a great. It's coming together. It's a group project. I love this. And Glenn says, I like the idea of building a kit. It's very cool. And Marcia says, is it really worth plecking an Epiphone versus a standard setup by a competent tech? I can't compare because I've never had a guitar plecked, but my preference would be get someone to do it. And the thing with the plec is, it's done to the, like, I don't know what, 100th of a millimeter or something, or 1,000th of a millimeter. It is right. So you can't really argue with that. But someone who knows what they're doing it, I mean, it's never let me down. Not that I'm the person get Marty down around to do it. He knows that he's doing better than I do. Ryan says, I like the 339 best. 339 is a great guitar. I love that they were like, hey, the 335 is a bit too big. Let's make it smaller. And move the jack as well. That was a good idea. A lot of people do that sort of things. T-Ball says, glory hole videos would give you a big bump. So I hear. Yeah, probably also be banned off YouTube. But hey, there's other platforms for that sort of content. Todd says, Dave, don't be a sellout. China sells enough bullshit without anyone boosting interest in those piles of shite. There isn't a single reason to do anything with them but burn them. Just my opinion. And it is your opinion. And it is, and look, I get where you're coming from in terms of that. And that's why I said what we do is you take the name off it. It's, I'm not selling out. I'm not promoting anything. And that's why, look, hundreds of people on that video, for the Gibson that I did the video on, reached out to me. Were like, what's the link to where you got the guitar? And I wouldn't give the link to anybody because I'm not promoting them, but they exist. And as a YouTube channel person, sometimes you got to make videos about things that exist, and that's all it is. So I don't promote anything. I don't give them good reviews, and everybody who watched that video knows that it wasn't a good experience buying that guitar. And especially if you watch the follow-up where it was that the guitar had no truss rod and everything was a bit of shit that was inside it. The electronics and stuff were crap. But yeah, look, listen, I get where people come from with the like the whole Chinese thing being rubbish, but the honest truth is most of the things that we buy, like the camera I'm looking at, the computer that I'm streaming from, the phones that we use, a lot of that stuff is all made in China anyway. So I get where you're coming from. But you know, from my point of view, I don't promote stuff like that, and I don't actually promote a lot of stuff on the channel. But when I do a video on something like a Gibson or something like that, I'm not going to give out links or ways to buy the things. I've turned down people's offers on to do so. So yeah, trust me, not selling out, but sometimes I got to get a boost on the channel, and that's one way of doing it. Because YouTube doesn't want to boost this channel, don't know why. Just you know, occasionally it'll tick along fine, then it goes down, and but it doesn't give me any of those boosts anymore like it used to. So we just keep going. That's what we got to do. Occasionally we'll get a bump, but you know, I can't call out Joe Bonamassa every time in order to get a bump on the channel. Mark says, I also clean condition check for any issues, etc. When I do a restring, I'm doing it as we speak. Yep, that's that. As I said that earlier, that's how we go about it. Mark says, I've never ever seen anyone say they got a Gibson without a truss rod. Just myself. Yeah, I must be the only one. I thought it was one of those one of the Epiphone style ones that are kind of buried deep and it was just cut badly, like the wood was cut badly so I couldn't see it. But no, it just wasn't there, unless it's tiny or just hammered in so far I can't see it or get. I mean, I don't even know how it's possible, but it's not. I can't find one on it. I can't see one. Obviously, there's only the one. There's the truss rod cover. There's no way of me connecting to a truss rod. I've put an Allen key in it and nothing. It hasn't connected with anything, so I can only assume there's nothing there. I could saw the neck in half and see someone in there, but I don't really want to. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me though, because like Todd says, they're not exactly looking after quality control, and it is one where they can do what they want, because once you send it, they're not gonna, you know, what are you gonna do? They're not gonna let you send it back. So Jojo says, gotta jump. Nice chatting, Dave and all. Todd, take care, cuz have a great weekend. Good to see you, Jojo. Thanks for dropping in. Great to see you. And yeah, we'll talk to you again. Benny says, Dave, a build your own Gibson video. You could make 3: the builds, the painting and finishing, and the number 3 hardware and electronics installation, ending with a demo. A good, interesting idea, Benny. Interesting. Yeah, I would. I would. I mean, look. The thing is, because obviously it comes with whatever. So the one I got was supposed to be a heavy Relic 59 Les Paul, and stripping it down was the hardest thing, because I know what they put on their lacquers or whatever, but it wasn't very good, and the wood underneath wasn't. It was clearly a low grade wood as well, so it wasn't great sanding it down. I have pictures of it somewhere, because I was going to do a video like that, but yeah, it took a few days to get it down to the bare wood. It wasn't a fun project to get it there, but it was decent enough painting it and so forth. So, you know, you never know. It might be something I do in the new year. We'll see. And Marcia says, that Gibson company still offering you a sponsorship, Dave? Yeah. I'm sure I could get one if I wanted. That was fun. Jojo says, by the way, if you have a build off, Todd and I will win. Sounds like a wager to me. We can put it to a vote, and whoever wins has to buy beer for the channel. for the Three Chord Dave live. For me, obviously. We'll see how it goes. Glenn says, I've heard of Rick bass Gibsons with the stereo inputs and only one wire, one input wired. Yeah, I've heard that. The pots on the Gibson that I got last year were tiny. They were like the microest pots, like the smallest pots I'd ever seen. Um, and they were not great, as you'd expect, I suppose. Scott says, that Von Frankenstein Wolfgang guy is a misfit guitar player. Yeah, I agree. Zippy Two Socks, good to see you. Says, do you think Gibson will ever come out with a white two pickup 61 style GS custom? And you said, I've seen, and I don't see it. Anyway, let me come back to that. Where is it? Will they come back out with it? Yeah, probably. Sounds like, I mean, that's something that I think they'll come back to. Whether it'll be white, I like, they'll do other colors. They'll do all kinds of colors. But like, it's a good sign that they have the white 61 in the Epiphones at the minute. So you got the white and the heritage cherry. So yeah, it's likely that those will be the ones that they bring out if they do with a 61 style in the Gibson USA variant or custom shop variant even. Scott says, I'd like to do a kit guitar. Looking like a lot of kit guitars will be made on the channel at some point, guys. This is a good idea. We could do it all as a community. Now we might have to put a time limit on it so that everyone gets their stuff in first, but for sure we'll have a good run at this, I think. Butterfly Effect says to Glenn, if you buy a kit, get it from a well-known brand and not the Chinese garbage. Only the customs mail will rip you off. And if you want to buy the Chinese, buy matching parts separately. Yeah, you would definitely have to buy matching parts separately, 100%. Glenn says, Butterfly, I've looked at Guitar Kit World and Thomann sells kits. I think would be okay. Yeah, I've done Thomann kits before, and they're pretty good. It's been a while since I used a Thomann kit, to be honest, but yeah, I think that'd be still fun to do. There's some good stuff. If I was doing another one, I'd want to do one that had a set neck, like a glue-in neck that you'd have to do just that extra little bit of extra something. But we'll see. There's lots of options. You can get all pretty much any kind of body style and everything now as well. So we'd have a look and see what we all recommend together. Al says, check out Phil McKnight's video from where he bought a Squire from Sweetwater and had it plecked. Very cool. Yeah, that'd be something to check out for sure. Glenn says, I saw that Al and he did a 1-year revisit on it. Okay, very cool. Yeah, that's a good one. 1-year revisit, see how it's doing would be helpful also. Ryan says, no, Zippy, you can lower the middle pickup. There you go. But you can lower the middle pickup. There you go. T-Ball says, I can't buy a kit or guitar from China due to personal reasons. F those guys. Well, okay, that's everyone's got the right to believe and act in their own way for sure. Guitars are made all over, thankfully, so you can pick them up from wherever it works for you. Butterfly Effect says, just be careful, it can be a money pit. That is true. That is very true. Daniel says, my first guitar was a Baldwin and the pickups would shock you. Yeah, I've had a few shocks from pickups and stuff over the time. That's why you gotta make sure they're wired in properly. But anyway, good times, huh? Yes, though this hobby of ours is fun sometimes. Glenn says, Butterfly, I have pickups laying around that would upgrade the pots. I would upgrade the pots and tuners and definitely the nut. Yeah, that's what you got. Pretty much everything. That's what you got to do. They don't sadly come with stuff that's any good. Some of them are not too bad. The parts, but yeah, I think you're probably going to want to upgrade them anyway to decent parts. Jim says they don't have to worry about quality control. It's a one-time purchase from a fly-by-night company, not even Firefly quality, because they don't have to care. Yeah, they've got there's no consumer law to worry about. That you're 100% right. Ryan says, exactly, Jim, better off buying an American kit than Gibson. Absolutely not endorsing Gibson in any way. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. Benny says, I was thinking of DIY Gibson. I get you. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you're right. You're right, 100%. Daniel says, shock you as an electrical shock. Yeah, I guess yeah. Not shock you as in how good they were, I'm sure. Todd says, Jojo, peace and love, cuz, and yes, we shall crush them all. Well, challenges have been laid down by Todd and Jojo to who's going to build a better guitars. Butterfly Effect says, check out the parts option. Body and neck will cost you $150. I mean, like, one way you could do it, guys, is you can, the Stratosphere, is that the company they sell on Reverb? Where they sell husks of Gibsons and Fenders and so forth. You could buy one there and then put whatever pickups and so forth you want. To do whatever you want to your body of your guitar. And that's a fun thing to do as well. And usually get quite a good discount on the bottles. They also have Epiphones and stuff on Squires, so you can get a good deal on them too. Corey says, hey gang, sorry I'm late. I've been working on a guitar rack that I'm building. Don't forget to hit all those magic buttons for Dave. I picked up a Hot Rod Deluxe and an AC10C1 or is it AC10C1 on trade this week. Corey, you get all the good stuff. It's not fair. Get them in on trade. Good stuff, man. Glad to see you. Thanks for dropping in. There's no such thing as late around here, but it's always good to see you. Benny says, Daniel, when was it from? I know the pickups are one of the selling points. That's for the Baldwin, yeah. Let's see. You got shocked by the pickups. Hope they weren't high output. Yeah. This is true. Todd says, thanks for the chat. As always, gotta run though. Peace and love, TCD family. Hope to see you all next week. Take care. You take care, Todd. Glad to have you in the chat this week. Always great to see you. T-Ball says, time to eat. I'll continue listening, but I'll say goodbye for now. See ya, Island of Misfit Guitar Players. See ya, Anthony. Take care of yourself, man. Have a good week. And sure, we will talk to you soon. And Jim says, Willie Nelson's trigger was originally a Baldwin. It got destroyed in a bar fight and they took the pickup out and put it into that Martin. Interesting. Yeah, didn't know that. Didn't know the history of it. That's cool. Daniel says, I know, bought it from a pawn shop when I was like 14. Yeah, well, the pawn shop guitars are very hit and miss. Or they can be. It can be great, but hey, if they shock you, that's not a good thing. Corey says, has anyone tried the vintage brand of guitars? Got a solid deal on one of their VRS 100 models, and it's a pretty nice player loaded with Wilkinson pickups and hardware with a sweet trans blue finish. So I haven't played vintage in a long time, but Colin has one on his video. The guitarist has a video on his channel reviewing it. I don't think he was a big fan of it as the Les Paul model. It's a couple of months old now, a few months old, but I should definitely check it out. He has a review on it, and you'll find out a lot about that guitar from that. But yeah, they look cool. The vintage always look very cool. Marston's actually like Benny's idea a lot. Let's see who can build the worst guitar possible, and then let's see who can fix it and make it into a really amazing guitar. I mean, I've already won that one, so we're good on that. Moneyshurt says, tell us about the guitar rack you're building. I've just built one for 4 guitars and have the wood for another one. Yeah, well, Corey, it sounds like an interesting project. All right. Glenn says, Corey, I've looked into vintage. They get great reviews. I don't own one, but I would. Yeah, they're very cool. From looks wise, I would say. Playing wise, I defer now. If Colin says it's good, I just believe it's good. So that's who I would go check out that. Scott says, thanks for everything, Dave. The show keeps getting better all the time. Obviously, it's due to having the greatest group of people on the planet in the live chat. Indeed, Scott, we do have some great folks dropping in. And it's always great to see new folks joining in with us as well. So if you are a new person, maybe you're not watching live, maybe you're watching this during the week or whatever, come along to the live stream and just say hello. There's a lot of cool people here, and you got a question about guitars and stuff. People who know what they're talking about will help you out. Not me. People who actually know what they're talking about. So yeah, definitely pop in. It is a great group, Scott, and thanks for pointing that out. And it's always good to have you in the chat. Michael Tresca, good to see you, Michael. Says, I'm late, but I made it to the party. Well, Michael, cheers to you, my friend. Loving the beer koozie, by the way. Thank you for that so much. And it's always good to see us. And late, not late, it's all good. We're always glad to see you. Hope the Telecaster is doing well with you. Let me see. We got Corey says, I'm building the rack into an old steamer trunk. I've done a few of these as well as building them into vintage luggage. This one holds 4 guitars. Very cool, Corey. We got to see that, I think, when you're done. That sounds great. And Glenn says, I can do a bass kit. Can I do a bass kit or will I be banned? Can I do a bass kit if I painted blue? Bass, I don't understand what you're talking about, Glenn. What's that? Uh, in other words, no. Uh, you can do what you want, but listen, the band hammer falls. That's all I'm saying. Bass, how many strings? Says Scott. Yeah, if you're like the ZZ Top bass player, I don't know what his name is, the new guy, but he was playing what is it like a 17 string bass on stage the other night, and someone put up videos of it. That's interesting. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, Glenn. It's fine. You'll just be disqualified. Benny says it's only if it's a 6 string bass. Oh, we'll see. Corey says I've got pics of a few of them on my FB page. You want to have a look at some of my old bills? Absolutely, Corey. That's a great idea. Ryan says I rewound the chat and didn't realize. I thought the rest of you were going crazy. They're all crazy. It's all good. We're all crazy, I should say. But no, good stuff, Ryan. Thanks for that. Glenn says, Benny, how about 4? And I'll owe you 2. What's all this bass thing? That's mental. My knees hurt says I'm not on FB, but they sound cool, Corey. Indeed, they do. And Michael says 18 strings. Well, there you go, 18. I knew it was a high number, a crazy high number like that. So, anyway, good stuff. We're at the bottom of the chat. It's taken a second to come in from YouTube onto the platform. I see Scott says I'd be into seeing that too, Corey. Sounds top notch. Indeed, it does. It's not an electric shock. It's a feature that makes you feel electrified by the music you're playing. Duh. Absolutely, Marcia. That's a great outlook to have on it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. We're just wrapping up the show now. It has been 2 hours of fun and greatness. And as I said, been a week where I needed a bit of a pick me up. So thank you so much to all you guys for picking me up and making me having a great time. Cool stuff. Cool stuff talking to you guys each week. As I said, I'm going to try and push out a video tomorrow, but don't hold your breath for it. I'm very much going to try and get it. So so keep an eye out. Videos will be up soon. Yeah, keep an eye on my Reverb page. I might be selling guitars very soon. So if you want to know what I'm doing, keep an eye on that. And yeah, thanks for joining me. We'll be back again next week with another 3 Chord Dave Live and another guitar related video very soon. But until then, take care.